Hello everyone, welcome back to Becca's Book Nook. Today I'm going to be doing my July wrap-up. I know that it is only the 28th of July and that I still have a good 4 days left of reading time, but this date just happened to fall on a Wednesday, so I'm going to be talking about the books that I've read so far this month, and if I read any more, I'll talk about it in my August TBR. As of right now, I do have 12 books to discuss with you guys, so I'm gonna just hop right into the video. This month has been a great month of reading for me, and I'm so excited to talk about all the books I've read. I started off this month very strong with the Kiss Quotient by Helen Huang, which was an immediate 5-star read for me. I fell absolutely in love with it, and I'm so excited to do a reread already. I fell in love with our two main characters. It was so interesting seeing things from Stella's perspective as someone with Asperger's and seeing her be so afraid of the physicality of a relationship to the point where she feels like she needs to practice being in a relationship. It was interesting, but it was also very sad. I loved Michael's character because he made her feel so comfortable in herself and made her realize that there's nothing wrong with her, and the relationship was just beautiful, and I loved reading about it. The spice in this book was also very unexpected for me, very pleasantly surprised. Yeah, I was really just not expecting that for some reason, but it was very well done. Hats off to you, Helen Huang. The next 3 books that I read in July were the Summer I Turned Pretty series by Jenny Han. Now, I personally could not get through the first book of the To All the Boys I Loved Before series by Jenny Han. I watched the movies, I just couldn't get into the books for some reason, so I was a little bit skeptical to go into this series, but my cousin did recommend it to me and lent me the books to read, and I'm glad I did because it was a good series and I definitely enjoyed how it ended as a whole. As I mentioned in my July TBR, in this book we follow Belly, who has always gone to Cousins Beach in her summer since she was a little girl because her mom is best friends with a lady that owns a cottage there. So she's grown up with her mom's friends' kids her whole life, and she has always been in love with his son Conrad. And Conrad is a bad boy, sort of, doesn't really give her the time of day. He doesn't really share his emotions, or just kind of she feels like he doesn't care about her. And then there's the other brother, Jeremy, who she realizes might be a better choice than Conrad in the end because he actually openly shares his feelings for her. Yeah, lots of drama. It's kind of a mess. It's very boyfriend's brother sort of trope thing, I guess. The whole series as a whole, it's kind of a weird trope. I don't really know. But she has sort of a relationship with both the brothers at one point, and I'm very happy with who she ends up with at the ending. They're also developing this into a TV show or a movie or something, so I'm interested to see that. As far as ratings go, this got 3 out of 5 stars, the first one. The second one also got 3 out of 5 stars, and I think the last one got 4 out of 5 stars because I liked the way it ended and I was very happy with it overall. July was an amazing reading month for me, as I mentioned, because my 4th book of the month was another 5-star read, and it was Better Than the Movies by Lynn Painter. I have mentioned this book as well as the Kiss Quotient in my last video, which was my 5-star reads, and I absolutely fell in love with this book way more than I was expecting to. As I mentioned previously in the other video, this book has heavy ties to popular rom-com movies as well as music, and those are 2 of my favorite things other than books. So I absolutely fell in love with the story. I love the fake dating trope. It's one of my favorites. And this book was just so wonderful. So many quotes from favorite films. I love the ties to You've Got Mail, which is one of my favorite rom-coms of all time. Yeah, just a gorgeous book. You need to read it. Lynn Painter is phenomenal. I absolutely loved that she includes the soundtrack of the 2 main characters at the back of this book, which someone has already made on Spotify. It's very cool. I've already listened to the whole thing multiple times, and it was just really wonderful. The characters were well described. I felt like I was like best friends with Liz, and I gotta find myself a boy like the main character, because he's something special. You need to read the book to find out about him. Next up on my July wrap-up is Tower of Dawn by Sarah J. Maas. Finally got to it after a year of holding a grudge against Kale Westfall, one of my least favorite literary characters of all time. Really don't like him. So I completely skipped over it when I was reading Throne of Glass. I saw it at a used bookshop and I thought I might as well get it because I've got to read it eventually, or else I feel like a fake fan of the series. So I read it, it was good. I liked learning more about Irene and Sartak and just that whole squad because we meet up with them in Kingdom of Ash, and I just sort of read that book and didn't really know the background of those characters. I think I did like a quick Google search of like analysis of what happened in whatever, Tower of Dawn, just like, or a summary, just to quickly find out who these characters were and why they were important. But I am very glad that I did read their story and get to know them a little bit better, because I feel like it helped me understand the ending better, and I really like Irene. She's a great character, so I am glad I got to it. I gave this book a 4 out of 5 stars because the writing was still great despite the fact that I don't like Kale, and Irene made up for it because I really love her as a character. She's a badass, strong female character, which I love. And their relationship was cute, despite the fact that Kale just dipped on Nezrin, as he does, because he's an ass. But I am very happy with their relationship, and I'm happy that they're together because Irene kind of saved our asses in Kingdom of Ash, so we love her. The next book that I read / listened to in July is The Midnight Library by Matt Haig. I listened to majority of this book on Audible because I was just really busy. I had lots to do. I listened to it at work and also when I was building my new bedside table. So that was fun. I finished it up while I was struggling with those instructions. So that was a fun time. I liked this book. I gave it a 3 out of 5 stars. The premise was a little bit dark for me though. I didn't know that the whole sort of premise was that she wanted to kill herself and she was done with life, and that's just not normally a topic that I'm comfortable with reading about. It is just very upsetting and disturbing to me. So it was interesting, not something I would normally gravitate towards, but it was a beautiful story. I loved the idea of her getting to see what her life could have been like if she made a different choice. And I really loved the fact that she didn't just get to step into a new life. It wasn't like a super fantastical element thing. It was more like she woke up thanking God that she didn't actually die and knowing what she needed to do to fix her life and make her happier in her current life. The 8th book that I read in July was Yes and I Love You by Ronnie Lauren, which I absolutely adored. This book gets a 4.5 out of 5 stars for me, not quite at that 5-star point, but I absolutely adored it. I love that our main character had Tourette's. I've never read a book where our main character had something like that, so it was interesting to see how she was coping and how she was so uncomfortable about her tics until she was with our boy. I loved that he didn't make her tick, and I loved their relationship, and I loved the fake dating sort of thing again, even though you could tell that they both liked each other before they even started the fake dating thing. Once again, the spice blew my mind. I was so not expecting that again. It was amazing, like really, really well written, really well done. I loved the ending. I loved that everyone sort of got what they wanted. And yeah, this book just made me super happy. This is another one that I listened to the majority of. I'm getting a little bit more into audiobooks because I feel like it just lets me read when I have other stuff to do, so it's really awesome. I love the narrator. I thought it was really well done. And yeah, pleasantly surprised by this book. Definitely go pick it up if you have not yet. It's not one that I see on TikTok or Bookstagram recently. I just found it at Walmart randomly one day, and I'm so happy that I did. I'm so excited to pick up her other book, and everyone should go read it. The next 3 books that I read this month were spontaneous reads. I finished Yes and I Love You when I was on a weekend getaway, and I had nothing else there to read, so my friend recommended this series to me that I had heard lots about but I'd been kind of hesitant to read. So I picked it up and I read the first 3 books in the Off-Campus series by Elle Kennedy. If you have not heard of these books, they are college hockey romances. Each book is about a different player on the campus hockey team, and the 4 boys live in a house together off campus, and each book is about their respective relationships. I have not read the 4th book because it deals with the pregnancy trope, which I'm not sure if I really want to get into because it's not my favorite sometimes. I feel like it's not done properly sometimes, and I'm not a fan of reading it. But I really enjoyed the first three. I love hockey personally. I love watching it, not playing it. So I loved reading about it and really thought it was an interesting series, and I'm glad that I got into it. I'm glad that my roommate recommended it to me. Shout out Danielle. I think my favorite book was the third one, The Score, but the other two, The Deal and The Mistake, were also really great. Trigger warning for The Deal, which is the first book. It does deal with sexual assault and domestic violence, so if you find either of those to be disturbing, check the trigger warnings before you get into it, just so that you're not uncomfortable or disturbed reading the book. Overall, I am very happy that I read these 3 books, and maybe I'll get into the 4th one, but I'm not sure. They were all super quick reads. I read the 3 books in 3 days. They're amazing. I read them online, also on like Apple Books. So yeah, I'm really happy that I got into those ones, and I definitely recommend them if they sound interesting to you. And the final book that I have read so far in July is The Night Circus by Erin Morgenstern, which I actually read / listened to in one day yesterday. I have been looking forward to reading The Night Circus for a long time. My brother had to read it for school, and my mom has read it in the past, and they both recommended it to me, so I was very excited to get into it. I am a magic lover, of course. Harry Potter is my favorite series like of all time, so I was really excited to step into this world, especially because it's set in like late 1800s, early 1900s, which is an era that I love to read about. I love the romance elements, and that the single act of removing a glove can just be one of the most like charged romantic things of that time. So I loved reading about this. I loved that it spanned over multiple years, but especially when I was listening to it, the timeline did get slightly confusing to me because I feel like I was just jumping all over the place. One chapter would be in 1901, the next in 1902, and then it would jump back to like 1899, and I just felt like I wish that I had read the whole physical thing instead of listening to some of it, because just the timeline got a little bit confusing to me, and I felt like it would have been better if I just had it physically to flip back to. Overall, I did really enjoy the book. I loved all of the elements that were in it. I loved the romance. I loved the like slow burn tension between Marco and Celia, and I am really happy that I read it. It got a 3.5 stars out of me just because I feel like I should have maybe read it in person more and it would have gotten a higher rating, just because I feel like I was a little bit confused at some points, but that's on me. The book was very well written, and I am excited to check out a few of Erin Morgenstern's other things. So those are the 12 books that I have gotten into so far in July, and I am right now currently reading / listening to We Hunt the Flame by Hafsa Faisal, which, as you guys have known if you watch my videos, has been on my TBR since February, and I'm finally just getting into it. I am very excited to read this book because I've just heard so many great things, and I know there's already a second one out, so I'm behind, but I gotta get into it. And I am also going up to a cottage this weekend, so maybe I will get into one last book before July ends, and I'm kind of hoping that it is Last Chance Books, which is up there and is sort of modeled after You've Got Mail, which I mentioned earlier in this video is one of my favorite rom-coms. As I said, if I do get into any more books that I did not discuss in this video for the remainder of July, I will mention it next week in my August TBR video. So that is it for my July wrap up. I hope you guys enjoyed watching this video, and maybe I introduced you to a book you had not yet heard about. I am very interested in hearing what you guys read this July and what some of your favorite reads were, so definitely comment down below if you have a book that you want to share with me. But that is it for this video. Please don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel for more bookish content. I post videos every Wednesday, and I would love to have new members of this family. I will link all the books mentioned down below in the description box, as well as my socials if you want to go follow me over there. I do really enjoy posting on my Bookstagram and would appreciate if you guys came over and checked that out. But that is it. I hope you all enjoyed this video, and I will see you in my next one. Bye!